Hi folks, this is your MWIS planning outlook with the latest longer range details. It's been a rather lively weather story recently. We've got another windy day to come as well on Saturday, with low pressure toward the north, gale force winds widely across the mountains, severe gales again across higher tops in Scotland. It will be a rather showery day, those showers moving increasingly eastwards through the daytime across the Highlands. A weakening cold front will slip southwards into England and Wales, and that will bring some showery rain for a time and an improvement to some brighter skies coming in from the northwest over England into the afternoon. Still windy across these areas as well, and temperatures overall across the hills will be on the cool side and a distinct wind chill in exposure across higher terrain. Temperatures will be on the warmer side though as we head forwards. Broadly across the country will be above average, but the peak of some very hot conditions will be focused over England and Wales in the early part of the new week. This is the 5-day temperature trend in relation to the seasonal averages. Some very high temperatures across continental Europe as well. A brief push of very warm and humid air into Scotland, but shorter lived here before the Atlantic influence comes back in. But overall, we're still a little bit on the warmer side of average through the Highlands the next week ahead. Sunday's weather situation has a ridge of high pressure extending northwards, a dry day for most places. Some areas of low cloud across some western mountains, particularly in Scotland, which may linger around the coast, and we've got some rain developing late in the day as a frontal system comes in from the west. That's setting in heavier onwards into Sunday evening and night. The wind will just ease down for a time, but still rather breezy across Scottish mountains, especially further northwest. Lighter winds most of the day over England and Wales, and feeling warm with some sunshine pretty widely through Sunday here. Monday's situation sees a slow-moving but weakening frontal zone draped across the Highlands, some persistent rain early in the day, tending to fade to drizzle, but leaving a legacy of low cloud across the hills, especially in western areas. Eastern spots of the Highlands could just see some breaks coming through. The far north as well could just escape brighter, a degree of uncertainty just how far north or south that front is situated, but a risk of drizzly damp conditions pulling northwards through the daytime. Strongest of winds will be on Monday morning, the isobars opening out somewhat though, so the wind tending to drop with time. England and Wales are in that increasingly very warm and humid air mass, some areas of low cloud in the morning tending to break up with some sunshine coming through. Some hazy high cloud was expected to be around, and it could just be that things turn more unstable toward the southwest and some bursts of thundery rain aren't too far from South Wales by Monday afternoon and evening. That leaves us with quite a complicated situation into Tuesday then. That warm and humid air extending further north across Scotland on a south to southeasterly airflow. Light winds for most, areas of mist and low cloud around the hills, some strong sunshine coming through in places though, but always just the risk of some local bursts of rain forming, and in some places that could emerge into scattered thunderstorms. Much uncertainty of exact detail, but with slack low pressure toward the south and a humid atmosphere, the ingredients are there for an August afternoon for some localised downpours, so just watch the detail in the forecast by that time. The general situation then through the middle of next week is that the warm humid air will tend to get pushed away further eastwards with time, and somewhat fresher conditions will come in from the Atlantic as low pressure is generally situated toward the north and the wind flow turns back to more of a westerly influence. So a bit of a complicated story, again with some bursts of rain and potentially thundery downpours in places, but many areas could just escape these and stay substantially dry. I think eastern parts during Wednesday afternoon would have the greater risk of some local thundery downpours. Fresher conditions trying to emerge from the west, all things relative. I think temperatures will still be on the warm and fairly humid side with the air coming around from the mid-Atlantic, and that will lead us into some areas of low cloud that will tend to persist across western mountains. West-south westerlies really prevailing for the rest of the week. Some bits and pieces of rain without amounting to a great deal, just always threatening the west coast of Scotland. Elsewhere substantially dry with some sunshine and warmest conditions further south and east across the country. Always somewhat breezier further north, lighter winds further south. It's that southwesterly regime that does just seem to prevail, with high pressure across the south and lower pressure passing north of Scotland by the end of the week. Some occasional rain, mostly across the western mountains. The general trends further forwards would suggest that higher than average pressure will reside across the British Isles, which would keep things relatively quiet, with dry and warmer conditions in the extended forecast. Across Scotland, we may just still see some influence of a weak southwesterly pattern, which could just draw in more in the way of cloud across more western mountains more often, and some occasional small amounts of rain from weak weather fronts passing to the north. But overall, it looks to be a reasonably settled forecast through that time, and that trend could well continue toward the end of the month, with high pressure showing some signs of being a bit further north, maybe centred around Scandinavia. That could just give an improvement overall to Western Scotland, with less of an Atlantic influence by that time, and maybe more of a south-southeasterly wind pattern, so more sunshine perhaps getting further westwards more often. Temperatures overall would stay on the warm side, maybe just with some destabilisation of the pattern from the south. Could just see a greater risk of some thunderstorms emerging, especially across the southern half of the country by that time. But all that detail is a long way off to judge. But those general patterns looking to be on the drier and warmer side throughout the remainder of the month. All your local details for 3 days ahead, as always, can be found on our website. That is your Planning Outlook. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.